Well, I've had a lot of requests for more videos, and guess what? This time, not about cars. But as you can see, there's a residue of cement, and we've had things happening around here. It's very muddy and clay stuff everywhere. As you can see, this house has been re-stumped because the old ones were red gum and they were pretty sad. Like, there wasn't much holding it up. So yeah, we'll just have a little look-see. So they're all nice straight rows. So they've done a nice job, which is good. You're probably not going to see much. But yeah, they're the stumps, and the bit of timber beside them is so I can attach the there's a bit of debate as to what these things are actually called. I've heard them referred to as plinth boards, barge boards, I don't know. They're the boards that make the house look nice, that largely cover up what's underneath the house, but they still allow ventilation, blah blah blah. So anyway, that's what those bits of treated pine are for. They're the full length of the stump. So I've got to strap the gas pipe to the floor joists, and yeah, there's nothing really. I've got to put a strap here too, because there isn't really much holding the gas meter up either, because there's the bracket there. So yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance. I'll have to bugger around with this. It's I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to mount it, but the gas pipe at the moment, yeah, they've tied it up at least. You can see that there's a rope on that. So they did go to the effort of tying up the gas pipe, which is good, because there's nothing at all holding it up apart from that, even though there was originally one clip. So that's what's happened. We've also put in a new gas heater, and it really should have been sealed around here with silicone, so I'm actually going to do that. I'll just remove these screws, and there are 4 of them. This thing's really efficient. Like, that's running. I mean, I can hold my hand on here indefinitely, and what's coming out of here is, yeah, it's not that warm, so it's a very, very efficient heater. That's the colour the house is going to be. Yeah, it's a very patchy, this is just the test, but it's patchy because it was too cold and the moisture, you know, condenses on it, and that's what happens. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to see that's different. Around the back's pretty much the same. These are the old ant caps. Yes, I did keep some of the old stumps. No, I didn't keep heaps of them. I was going to keep all of them, and then some of them were just hammered and, you know, not worth doing anything with. I like doing woodwork. Maybe I should do videos on that. But the upshot of it is the red gum is really hard on the tools, and it is beyond the capacity of my circular saw, even though it's a big one. So ripping red gum stumps down the centre, it's a little bit sketchy when the saw isn't really big enough. I mean, yeah, you need a rip saw, but it's obviously not. So yeah, more of the same. They've got, there's jacks under here that actually, yeah, they're just bottle jacks, but they support the load while they concrete the stumps in. The process is very interesting. They use a water gauge to actually work out where to pump up the bearers to, and all they did was they sat a 20-litre drum with a tap on it right there on the boot of the car, and it's got a hose, so that the level of water in the drum becomes your reference. It's very clever. So that point on the car was the reference for the whole job. So yeah, I mean, you don't need $1,000 or $5,000 electronic stuff. You can just use cobbled together basic stuff. So I was, you know, quite impressed. And so what they do is you probably can't see, but there you go. The stumps have like a clip that they fold up. There's a hole in the ant cap, so that's nailed to, in this case, a bit of treated pine. So and the stump hangs in the air in the hole. These ones are pretty long. Apparently they're longer than normal. They're 800mm long, and basically what they do is they set the correct height, then they pour concrete in around the bottom of the stump. So I suppose it's, I don't know, the hole's probably half full of concrete, which is a fair bit, and they tell me that there's like 2 tons of concrete basically around all the stumps. So the whole job used 2 tons. So then the jack holds the house up while the concrete goes off, cures. So that's how they do it. Getting the stumps out of the ground involved mini jackhammers, like an SDS hammer drill with a jackhammer attachment. You know, the chucks you can interchange on some of them. So that's what they had to do here, because the ground's very hard. They tell me they don't have to do that for every single job. It's not that it's really that complicated to do it, but it's a lot of hard work. I mean, I'm pretty confident that I probably could do it if I had to, based on what I've seen, but it's not really complicated. It's just, there are things you obviously have to know that I don't. I don't have the training, I don't have the qualifications, so you know, this is why, even though this job could be worked out, if you really had to do it yourself, you probably could. I don't know where you get the information. You'd probably have to do a course or buy a book or something, but it's not worth it for what it costs to do this. It's just so much work, and really you could buy a cheap car for what it costs to do all this work. So when you look at it that way, it's a bargain. So these steps here are going to go, because they're, with a car there, you can't even get the wheelie bin past there or the mower. So the steps are going to be demolished and they're going to be put there. So I'm a little bit unsure as to, like, normally you just have the steps running straight out, but I'm sort of thinking maybe we won't do that. Maybe what we'll do is we'll have the steps sort of, you know, the stiles will be on an angle. Maybe, I don't know, whether you'd have the other one at the same angle, or whether you'd, you know, do that. I'm not sure at the moment, to be honest. It has to look nice, but they have to work. And at the moment, what's there is dangerous. They're buggered. Like, you can see that bit of timber, it's like there's nothing even holding it up. Like, it's just rotted out of the ground. It's got a centre support here, which everyone trips over. Yeah, I mean, really, I don't know if you're going to see this, but yeah, probably because I moved the camera around too much. You can see it moves around a fair bit. So, or maybe you couldn't. I'm looking through the screen, so I can't really see what's happening. So that's what's going to happen, and then we'll run some kind of, well, you can get these nice stainless steel cable type, you know, like a barrier, I guess you'd call it, to stop little kids and people from falling down where there's not going to be steps. So that's what I'm going to do there. This downpipe has to be replaced. Actually, the guttering has to be replaced as well. The horrible old box. So that's what's been happening, and that's why I haven't really been making car videos, because I have a lot of work to do on the house, and this also has to change too, because this driveway is just dirt and it needs gravel. The whole thing needs gravel. All of that needs gravel where the cars are. Like, if you like your car, here's a car tip that involves your house. 2 inches of gravel will just stop all of the mud and dirt getting in your car. So you probably want some kind of a border or something to stop the gravel going on your lawn, because it isn't much fun throwing stones around. What I'm thinking of doing is getting like small treated pine sleepers, cut them into the ground so that they're sticking up, you know, 50 mil or something, or maybe 100 mil. So that'll basically, they'll sort of go off like that. They'll frame the driveway. So yeah, hopefully we won't get much more rain, and also hopefully it'll dry out and things won't be so muddy. But anyway, that's what's been happening. Thanks for watching.